Chapter 552, Innate Embryonic Breath. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. A moment later, Zhang Yuochen pulled his fingers back. Looking at Huang Yanjun lying on the ground, he felt nothing but guilt, panic, and worry. He could not help biting his lips as he said, "It's all my fault." Huang Yanjun was seriously injured. Her 5 internal organs, 6 hollow organs, meridians, and qi had all suffered incurable injuries. Her body was so badly torn that even a saint could not help. Unless there was a miracle, it would be almost impossible for her to come to life again. Zhang Yuochen clenched his fists with great remorse. If he had left Huang Yanchen practicing in the scroll world in the beginning, she would not be suffering this now. At that time, he believed that blindly secluding herself for refining was not helpful for her practice. It was counterproductive and she would never become a real superior in this way. Only through continuous life and death battles, the ups and downs of life, and the refinement of human feelings and worldly wisdom could one finally go further along the holy road. Therefore, he told Huang Yanjun to come out to experience more and fight together with him to sharpen her heart state and hone her will. However, he never expected that this would happen. Blackie found Alcyonian and Orange Star Emissary, who were seriously injured, and brought them here. They both had passed out. However, their physical qualities were special, and their cultivations were much stronger than Huang Yanjun's. They had reached the 3rd change in the fish-dragon realm, bone refining to jade. Therefore, although they were seriously injured, they could still recover as long as they took the healing pills and took time to recuperate. Go to the scroll world first. Zhang Yuochen took a deep breath and immediately took out the yin-yang wooden graph. He opened the scroll world and entered the space door with Huang Yanchen in his arms. Then, he arrived at the sacred prime tree and put her on the ground. The wood spirit chi of the sacred prime tree might be helpful to the condition of her injury. Zhang Yuochen wiped the blood from Huang Yanchun's mouth and took out an auspicious vase. Placing one hand on her back, he lifted her up, separated her lips, and slowly poured the blood of the wood spirit from the vase into her mouth. Then, Zhang Yuochen straightened Huang Yanchen up and sat behind her. He struck both hands out at the same time, mobilized the chi of Saint Dragon in the Dragon Pearl, and continuously passed it into her body. Half a day had passed by and Zhang Yuochen's forehead was continuously sweating. Even his face gradually turned pale. However, the condition of Huang Yanjun's injury showed no signs of improvement. No, do not be so. Zhang Yuochen shook his head, clenched his teeth, and continued to squeeze the power in his body. Not only did he inject the chi of Saint Dragon into Huang Yanjun's body, but even his own genuine chi was almost exhausted. His body began to shake and he felt like he might faint at any minute. After all, Zhang Yuochen had already suffered a serious injury in the previous battle with the Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King. The injury was suppressed by the genuine chi and the divine dragon strength inside his body. At this moment, he injected all of his genuine chi into Huang Yanjun's body, while his own injury broke out immediately and started to backfire. PFFT. Zhang Yuochen vomited a mouthful of blood. A strong sense of weakness and pain spread throughout his body. His face was as pale as a sheet of white paper. His body was off balance and then it fell to the left. "No, I can't fall. If I fall, who else can help her?" With a strong will, Zhang Yuochen reached his palms to the ground, set his teeth, and struggled to sit up again. Just then, when Zhang Yuochen fell, Blackie also checked on the injury of Huang Yanjun. He shook his head and said, "She was so seriously injured. Even if there was a wood spirit chi of the sacred prime tree to nourish her body, she would not last more than 3 days." Blackie looked at Zhang Yuochen's face and added, "However, if we can find Xuan Wu's holy source, her life might be saved." What she practiced was the Xuan Wu Sutra, and fusing it with Xuan Wu's holy source could enable her to reshape her body and bring her back to life. There was no need for Blackie to say anything further. Zhang Yuochen already understood that he had to get Xuan Wu's holy source within 3 days. Needless to say, since such horrible sound waves could be sent out from Xuan Wu's abdomen, there had to be a top superior inside who was taking Xuan Wu's holy source. Otherwise, he would not send sound waves to injure Huang Yanjun, Alcyonian, and Orange Star Emissary. preventing them from going to Xuan Wu's abdomen. If Zhang Yuochen wanted to take Xuan Wu's holy source from the hands of that superior, his cultivation had to break through to the fish dragon realm first. The fish dragon realm. Zhang Yuochen looked serious. He took out the auspicious vase, drank some wood spirit blood, and started healing his wounds. Then, he took out a dragon pearl and put it into his mouth. He was mobilizing the thin genuine qi in his body and began refining the dragon pearl to take his step toward the fish dragon realm. With his current injury condition, it was quite dangerous for him to go for the fish dragon realm. However, Zhang Yuochen had no other choice. There was not much time left for him. So, despite the danger, he had to go for a higher realm while curing himself. After refining the first dragon pearl, all the genuine qi in Zhang Yuochen's qi had attained perfect completeness. However, the rushing genuine qi was frantically flowing through his injured body, impacting his meridians and internal organs. This made Zhang Yuochen's injury condition even worse. Blood was spilling from Zhang Yuochen's mouth, but he still took the second dragon pearl and continued to go for the fish dragon realm. He knew that he would be more seriously injured by doing it this way, but he did not hesitate to do so. 2 days passed by and Zhang Yuochen had taken 13 dragon pearls in a row. His aura became stronger and stronger. His body was wrapped up with genuine qi, forming a huge ball with a diameter of about 100 feet. Looking from afar, because of the expanding genuine qi within, Zhang Yuochen's body was going to burst with bloody lines on its surface, like a cracked ceramic. If Zhang Yuochen could not break through to the realm, he might burst to death at any minute. Alcyonian and Orange Star Emissary woke up after 2 days' treatment from Blackie. They knew exactly why Zhang Yuochen was so desperate to break through to the realm. They also knew that Huang Yanjun was seriously injured and might not survive the day. Alcyonian was not thinking about her own recovery. She was just holding her skirt tightly, worrying about Zhang Yuochen's injury condition worsening or something bad happening while he was making the breakthrough. Alcyonian wished that Zhang Yuochen would take care of himself and not try to break through to the realm until his injuries had healed. However, it was exactly Zhang Yuochen's special temperament that Alcyonian admired so much and, thus, she willingly regarded him as the group leader and followed his orders. She had developed some affection for him, but even she herself did not notice it. Even Orange Star Emissary, who used to frown upon Zhang Yuochen, was now looking at him with shining eyes. At this moment, she also admired Zhang Yuochen for his charming personality. A real man was not required to be domineering while facing the weak, but to take his due responsibilities when he was in need. A real man was expected to face up to the stronger enemies and severe challenges to protect his loved ones. Boom! All of a sudden, the genuine qi surrounding Zhang Yuochen's body exploded and turned into streams of genuine qi, continuously flowing toward the middle of his eyebrows. At this moment, Zhang Yuochen finally broke through the human limit and reached the first change in the fish dragon realm, innate embryonic breath. Using the so-called innate embryonic breath, one would swallow one's internal qi and hold it. Heaven and earth spiritual qi could be used as one's food and the foodless realm would be reached. Upon reaching this realm, one would not starve to death or die from thirst, even without eating or drinking anything for a year. I finally made it. Zhang Yuochen opened his eyes and took a deep breath. Thus, the spiritual qi within 10 miles was immediately breathed into his body and stored in the qi sea. After reaching the fish dragon realm, he absorbed the heaven and earth spiritual qi faster. The genuine qi in his body was running all the time in his meridians, forming an internal circulation. So, there was no need to worry that the genuine qi would run out. Zhang Yuochen stood up, walked over to Huang Yanjun, and leaned over. He put his finger on her wrist to check on the condition of her injury. After a while, he withdrew his hand and said softly, "Wait for me." Cough, cough. Zhang Yuochen's injury was aggravated by just saying a few words. He wiped the blood from his mouth that he coughed up. "Group leader, let me go with you to get Xuan Wu's holy source." Alcyonian rose and went up to Zhang Yuochen at once. He looked at her and replied, "Stay here to recover. Let me handle this." Cough, cough. Zhang Yuochen took a deep breath and suppressed his injury for the time being. Then, he opened the door of the space and walked out of the scroll world. 2 days in the scroll world was just 4 hours in the external world. Zhang Yuochen clenched his fist tightly and said, "There are only 2 hours left. I must get Xuan Wu's holy source and I surely will." Zhang Yuochen lifted his chest and tried to stand up straighter. He dragged the ancient abyss sword to Xuan Wu's abdomen.